Lakehurst, New Jersey, 7:25 in the evening, May 6th, 1937. Delayed by storms, the airship Hindenburg was finally preparing to land. Passengers peered down looking for familiar faces as the ship turned for the final descent. Water ballast was released to bring her into trim. Engines were reversed from idle ahead to idle astern. Winchmen paid out handling lines to the ground crew. Tragedy is seconds away. The mystery is, was it an accident or sabotage? Lakehurst, New Jersey is a place that time has passed by. 40 years ago, it was the city of the future. The nearby Naval Air Station was the East Coast terminal for dirigible transatlantic crossings. The mammoth hangar strained to accommodate these giants of the air. Airship travel had become a reality. Germany was the starting point for most of these lighter-than-air voyages due to the engineering dominance of the company founded by Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. In 1924, the company built this dirigible for the United States as part of Germany's reparations for World War I. Named the Los Angeles, she was piloted to Lakehurst by Hugo Eckener, the foremost authority on commercial airships and head of the Zeppelin Company. In 1928, Hugo Eckener built the largest, most luxurious airship to date, the Graf Zeppelin. Wherever she flew, the Graf Zeppelin was hailed as proof of the practicality of airship travel. Her popularity helped to restore the war-ravaged pride of the German people, many of whom had contributed money for her construction. In 1929, the Graf circumnavigated the world carrying passengers. Airlines with fixed-wing planes would not equal this feat for years. She established a regular schedule of flights from Germany to Brazil years before transatlantic airplane service. Ocean liners were the only competition in the Atlantic. Hugo Eckener felt confident his dirigibles could cut the transatlantic crossing time to 2 days, but he would need a new airship, one larger and faster than the Graf Zeppelin. By late 1934, a new dirigible was under construction. She would be the largest airship ever built, the largest object ever put into the sky. She would be called the Hindenburg. 147 feet high and 1/6 of a mile long, she was so massive that a special hangar had to be constructed to house her. The control car would be separated from the passenger accommodations, which would be contained in the underside of the hull. 70 air travelers could be pampered by a 40-man crew as never before. The metal framework would surround 16 huge gas bags. 7 million cubic feet of lighter-than-air gas would give the Hindenburg buoyancy. Unlike other German Zeppelins, which were filled with explosive hydrogen, Hugo Eckener had designed the Hindenburg to be filled with helium, a gas so safe it would actually smother fire. The United States was the primary source of this rare natural gas and was at first willing to sell it to the Zeppelin Company.
Alles, was ihr seid, seid ihr doch nicht.
Adolf Hitler's rise to power complicated the negotiations.
Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Sieg heil!
Hitler saw the airships as propaganda machines to carry the message of the Third Reich around the world. The increasing militancy of the Nazi government caused the United States to have second thoughts about selling its helium to a German company, fearing it would be used in dirigibles fitted for war. A disappointed Eckener had no choice. If he wanted the Hindenburg to fly, she had to be inflated with flammable hydrogen. In early March 1936, the Hindenburg was ready. Accompanied by the Graf Zeppelin, the Hindenburg set out on a 3-day propaganda flight. Eckener complained loudly and publicly about what he considered to be the misuse of his airships. The furious propaganda minister forbade the German press to ever mention Eckener's name again. Earlier, Eckener's anti-Nazi sentiments had brought him into disfavor with the Third Reich. He was removed as director of the Zeppelin Company. The airships sailed on. Named for the former German president, the Hindenburg was the symbol of the new Nazi era. The 1936 Olympics were to be a showcase for the master race. In the wake of Jesse Owens' 4 gold medals, the stunned Nazis turned to the Hindenburg to regain their lost prestige. In 1936, the Hindenburg made 10 flights from Germany to the United States. Almost every crossing set a new transatlantic speed record. In her first year, the Hindenburg logged almost 200,000 miles, carrying over 2,600 passengers. Docking at Lakehurst, the Hindenburg was reunited with her smaller sister ship, the Los Angeles. Eckener's joy in the Hindenburg's success was dampened by the fact that she was now piloted by Captain Ernst Lehmann, the new head of the nationalized Zeppelin Company. In spite of increasing international tensions, the Zeppelin Company established an ambitious passenger schedule for 1937. 18 flights from Germany to Lakehurst were planned for the Hindenburg. Almost immediately after the announcement of the schedule, the German embassy in Washington began receiving threats against the airship. Warnings came by phone and mail that the Hindenburg would be destroyed at Lakehurst. When the Hindenburg was ready to leave on her first U.S. flight of 1937, the ship was thoroughly searched for any kind of destructive device. Passengers' luggage was also carefully inspected. Although this flight would be commanded by Captain Max Pruss, Captain Lehmann decided to go along, hoping his presence would help alleviate the rumors of sabotage. The Hindenburg was ready. Captain Pruss gave the launch command, up ship. The Hindenburg lifted off from Frankfurt in the evening of May 3rd, 1937. The 97 people on board expected the flight to be as routine as several years of passenger service had proven it could be. The route across Europe was determined by international politics. The Hindenburg flew across Holland to the English Channel. By May 4th, the Hindenburg was over the North Atlantic. Violent storms and strong headwinds reduced her speed to only 60 miles per hour. Unaffected by the turbulence outside, passengers settled down to a meal of Rhine salmon a la Hindenburg. The great airship flew on smoothly through the storms and lightning that would delay her arrival. In the afternoon of May 5th, the cloud cover broke long enough for passengers to catch a glimpse of North America, the southern tip of Newfoundland. Throughout the night, the Hindenburg sailed down the Canadian coast, headed for the United States. The morning of May 6th found the Hindenburg over a foggy Boston, 10 hours behind schedule. As she flew further south, the clouds cleared. The Hindenburg came to New York City in bright sunshine.